Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Boardgame Specialist. I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And we are on
Troy.
episode... sorry. Troy. I was going to introduce you. So, surprise, we have a guest speaker. So Troy from Tabletop YYC is joining us for episode 78. Hi, Troy.
Hello.
So, lots going on that side, but I don't want to get chatting too much because I'm saving it for the interview side. Before we get to that, of course, we got to talk about what we've been playing lately. So, Carla, tell us, what have you been playing lately?
Well, this is the second time I've played it, but I just purchased Yedo Deluxe. And
nice.
I played it once with you at your house.
Yeah.
And loved it. I was skeptical to even play it. I thought it was something different. I thought it was a dudes on a map kind of game, which is not typically my game. I have played a few, but this is much different. You are basically trying to fulfill missions, which is basically like recipes, if you want to put it that way. You know, you have to complete them, and you'll score money, points, get cards, and all kinds of things. But what you're doing in the game is it's a worker placement. There's auction in it. There's trading. There's almost every type of mechanism you can think of in there that you're in. But it's so interesting because it has this huge board. The first part of the phase, you are auctioning off different areas that you can bid on. And if you win the auction, you get to choose out of kind of a grouping of what you're going to pick. And then if you lose the auction to somebody else, you'll keep going if you're first in turn order until you get something. So everybody can get something in the auction, or they can just decide to dab out and just collect $3. But then after that, you're going to place all your workers, I'm going to call them. But in the deluxe version, it's not a whole lot of different rules than the base one. You have special people, and so you have ninjas and geishas and all kinds of different things that you can hire later on, and they will give you different bonuses depending what you use them for. But you're going to place these workers, I'm going to call them, on the board, and everyone kind of goes in turn order doing that one at a time. And then after that, you're going to pull them off and do the action. So you're either going to do the action at these areas, and there's all kinds of areas. There's a red light district and a castle that you'll go to, and a temple, and place to buy weapons and things. And then, so you can either do the action or you can use them to fulfill your mission, because your mission cards are quite interesting. They will have all kinds of things, like you have to have a worker in this position on the board. You have to have a geisha girl. You have to have a blessing, which is another token that you can get. You might even have to have some money, and you have to have that all lined up in order to complete that mission. So the other thing is, there's this little guy in the middle. Now I can't think of what he is. The watchtower? No, what's he called?
He's the guard, or
watch guard. That's what he is. So he moves around the board, and you typically know where he's going to land, because if wherever he lands, you can't be in there. He'll arrest you unless you have special cards that can either bribe him or whatnot. But other people have cards that can play to move him. So you don't actually know where he's going to end up. You just kind of hope that he's not ending up where you're going to complete a mission. Unless you happen to have the ninja there, then he's fine. He can never be arrested. He can never be caught. But these mission cards are so neat because they go in levels too. They start out with, I think it's green, red, and maybe yellow, then black. And I remember pulling up a black one. This is the hardest type of mission. And I opened it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there was 15 things on it that you had to complete. But did end up completing one by the end of the game. It's just really neat and beautiful game with the art and the cards, and then even the flavor text on the cards is so interesting, because I couldn't read it that day because, if you remember, I forgot my reading glasses, so I could just barely see the symbols. And Mel doesn't need reading glasses, so there was none in the house. So when we pulled out this game, I'm like, oh no, I need to.
Oh, Carla, do you know what? I have magnifying glasses for like. I never even thought.
That would work. But anyway, it's just such a great game, and I can't wait to play it again. And that's Yedo.
So, quick question: how does it differ from the original version?
Well, it has
I'm
the
assuming
special
it's-
workers.
Yeah.
So those are different. It has. I gotta think now. There's not a whole lot of difference. Oh, there's some modules we played with, which are really easy add-ons. There's these T cards that are different people that you can kind of hire. Not really, but you know when you're in a spot and sometimes you pull off your worker and you can't do your mission, like something didn't work out. Well, instead of doing nothing, you can actually take one of these cards, and it's like an ability next round, and they're really good abilities. So it kind of gives you something to do when you've messed up your mission and you can't fulfill it that round, which is nice.
Is it very...
That can be a frustrating part of the game.
Right. Is it blinged out?
Be about it. What's that?
Is it very blinged out?
It's pretty nice. Like the board is actually the same. That doesn't change.
Oh, okay.
But the player boards and the metal coins and then the silk screened silk screen little workers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What did you
different?
What did you think about the mechanism where is it the officer or the government guy? He traps
watch
you.
guard?
Like the watch guard. Yeah. He goes backwards and lands on
he's
space where no one
annoying.
can do their mission. Yeah.
Yeah. And people
Because I'm going to go there. Wait, I can't. Oh, that really kind of wrecks what you're trying to do sometimes. Yeah. No, I found him.
It's neat. And I thought that would bother me too, because I don't usually like anything messing with my plans.
Yeah.
But it's neat because you just have to make sure that it'll happen in other ways. But it's a really cool
That's
game.
very cool. That's cool. I did enjoy when we played it. And I mean, we played with metal coins as well. I was like, we had metal coins. But that's because we pulled out the scythe coins.
Yes, we did.
So I have 2 sets of scythe coin. I don't even own scythe. But I have the coins for when we play games with money. That's like, let's make it metal coins. It's just something special about metal coins.
Yeah.
Now, how about you, Troy? What have you been playing lately?
Recently this week we're working through the games that I got from Gen Con. So Wandering Towers hit the table because it's a really quick game.
Oh, nice.
Really easy rule set. So it plays up to 6, I think. 5 or 6 players. We had 4. And the theme is really neat. So on BGG it says here, so you're these wizards and you've been procrastinating at school and you're supposed to race to Ravenskeep, and the game is these cardboard towers that you assemble one time only. And then Ravenskeep is this black tower, and it sits about 3 inches high, and it's hollow. So when you get your wizard meeple, you drop them into Ravenskeep, and then that's done. And you have 3 to 4 or 5 of these, depending on player count. And it's so simple. All you're doing is you have these movement cards, a hand of 3 each turn. And the movement card is either move a tower or move the wizard, and then a number of spaces. And it could be dice rolls as well. So you're just moving around this board with your wizards, trying to get them eventually into the Ravenskeep. But Ravenskeep moves. So first, when someone drops a wizard into Ravenskeep, it advances to the next Raven shield symbol on the board. And it's not really predictable necessarily, because if it's covered by another wizard or another tower, it moves even further along. So it's really chaotic. But it's such a fast game that even if you're far behind, you're having fun. Trapping other wizards, moving towers on top of other wizards, getting potions, and then casting spells to advance or manipulate your die rolls. And there's dozens of spells. Well, maybe not dozens, but a dozen different spells that you can mix the game up as well. So it's simple rules, teaches in 5 minutes, but plays in 20, 25 minutes. It was a lot of fun. And afterwards, it's so close, too. Our game was so close.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's just like, okay, let's go again. Let's do it again.
One of those.
Yeah.
That's funny. You're talking about it, and a lot of time when you talk about games, you're like trying to match it to something else. Oh, like this game. I can't think of another one that sounds like that.
Yeah. That sounds neat.
Wandering Wizards? Yeah, no. I can't think of one that's similar.
That's
it's
cool.
Definitely card draw. Well, you always have a hand of 3, so you draw up to 3 at the end of your turn. If your cards don't work for you, you can discard all 3 and then move 1 tower, 1 space, which if you cover another wizard or your own wizard, you get one of your potions. And actually, that's a really cool mechanism, because it's not simply a race to get all your wizards into Ravenskeep. You actually have to fill your potions, well, it depends on player count, but 5 or 6 of them, and use them. So
Oh.
even if you've got all your wizards gone, you don't win. You have to have both conditions. So you have to use your potions and get your wizards in. So yeah, you can get to a point where you think you've won and you're like, oh, I got one potion left. Okay, I gotta cast a spell next turn. And then somebody beats you to it. But
That sounds neat.
Like that.
It sounds also like a good one to play in October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at Halloween for sure.
Very
Potions
cool.
and wizards, and a good welcoming game too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good family weight game for sure. And it may seem like there's some take that where you're trapping other people's wizards, but it happens so frequently that it's expected. Plus, you can get your wizards out pretty easily. But what's really neat is these towers can stack on top of each other. You get a tower that's 6 sections high, and you have to remember where your wizard is trapped.
Oh, geez, because it actually hides it.
Yeah, and when you move a tower, you can move 1, 2, 3 sections at a time. And once you lift it, you can't change your mind because now you can see what's underneath it. So you're committed to moving that one tower. You can lose your wizards and try to find them after. It's fun.
I would suck. I would lose my wizard all the time. I could tell.
Yeah.
Well, so at the end, I had one wizard left, and I became a target, right? So everybody's like, okay, Troy could make it next game or next round, so we got to move him or not move him, move his tower or move Raven's Keep or something or cover him. So what I decided to do is, okay, I'm just going to trap my wizard into a stack of towers. And then they won't remember where my wizard is, but I will remember. And then I will move the tower and then move my guy into the Raven's Keep, just surprise them out of nowhere. But I didn't. I failed. Somebody beat me to it. But it was a good plan. It was a good plan. And that's the thing about the game, too. It's got these interesting little strategy things that you're like, oh, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Oh, I could just move him out of the way. I can move him past Raven's Keep, so he has to move all the way around. Yeah, it's neat.
It does sound really interesting. Yeah. Cool. I don't think I can't even picture it. I don't think I've seen anything about this game.
I've seen the box cover, yeah.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to need to look that up.
And it's not very attractive. I mean, it's a nice picture, but it's not, it doesn't draw you in, right? Like at Gen Con, when I watched some videos before going to Gen Con, like, it's on my list, Wandering Towers, but it's not high on the list. Like, it looks okay. Mm-hmm. And then I go to the booth and it's just like, yeah, just looks plain. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'll pick it up. And it's, I got so many games from Gen Con. It's low on the list of what to get to the table. And we only got it to the table because it was a really short game. So now it's like, oh, well, this will be the first game of the night.
You gotta love it, those little gems.
Filler. Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right,
well,
the game... the game I've played lately, finally got it off my shelf of shame. I think I probably bought it a year and a half ago, maybe. And that's Concordia. Now, Concordia is a game that's talked about like all the time. It's such a great game. And it's one that I picked up to buy and put it back and picked up to buy and put it back. And I kept putting it back because of the shape of the box.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It bugs me that it's such a long game. Yeah. Like, you got all the ones now that like the neat square or like the Stefan Feld's game where it's like more rectangular, but like it kind of fits perfect with the other game. Well, that one doesn't fit with the other game. It's tall and lanky, and so every time I'm like, should I? I was like, it's not gonna fit on my shelf well. No, I would put it back. But then
a generic cover too. It doesn't capture you.
No, it's like to look at it. It's not one that's like, this is. But everybody talked about it, so finally we played it. Carla, you were there. And it is good. It's a really neat game. One thing I really enjoyed was like the action selection. It's kind of like Puerto Rico. It's a little bit like San Juan, which is like Puerto Rico. So it kind of has that similarity as in, but not. Like you have your cards and the cards that you play is the action you get to activate. There is a card that allows you to mimic somebody else's card. That's kind of where Puerto Rico-ish kind. But, if you've because there was times like a card will allow you to move and then a card will allow you to activate a province, which you would collect the goods from any of the cities in there that you've built a house on. I don't know. I'm sure it's not called a house, but you have like your little wooden house on it, and then you get to activate and collect a resource from that. So in that style, kind of slightly like Catan. So you need to have like your houses on different location to be able to generate different goods. And then I was like, okay, great. I'm going to move here. Then I'm going to build a house there, but you need to have the resource to build the house. And then I'm going to have access to this resource now. So I'll activate this so that I can then go and build the other one. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, oh, wait a minute. I've just used that card. I don't have it in my hand anymore. And there is a card that brings everything back, but now you have to to change. It's like, okay, well, do I want to do this now? Because when you do that, the more cards you bring back, the more money you would get. So you're trying to get as many cards used up. Like the decision that you had to make, and it was very interesting. I think at the end of the game, I had managed to spread out a little bit everywhere. I think there was 2 territories I wasn't in. I had a variety of goods that I could kind of generate. And then all the cards you're collecting, because there's this area where you can go and purchase more cards. And I didn't do that tons and tons, but you can go and purchase more cards. And each of the cards you have at the end have a thing on the bottom that will score a different element of the game. And the more of those cards you have, the more it'll multiply your score for that particular category. It was just really neat. And it's one of those games where you have no idea who's winning until the end, which I like, because if you're losing, you don't realize you're losing the whole time you're playing the game, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing more demoralizing than you're like, oh, great, there's no way I can catch up.
Right.
I'm just going through the motion. But in that one, it's there's still a chance. And honestly, I can't remember what my score was, but I was doing way better than I thought I was. But yeah, it was just a really neat game with a map and the your little. Is there a player board? I think so. No, because there's the cards.
Just to hold your goods, basically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
yeah,
I know it's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really glad I got it played.
Low rules, very little rules. But
no, because everything is described on the card as well, so it's fairly straightforward. Yeah. It was good.
I taught it in maybe 10 minutes, and then we kind of.
Yeah, the teach was quick, unlike Arc Nova. Yeah, no, that was good. I'm really glad I got past the size of the box and got my own copy. But it was a great game.
Yeah,
I've never played it. It's on my shelf to be played eventually at some point. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it on BGG though. It looks like it's the same map area of the world as Mosaic.
Yeah, it does have a Mosaic look to it, doesn't it?
Well,
it's Mosaic, the civilization game Mosaic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get tons of different maps. There's probably 25 maps, I bet, for that game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I should open my game because I bought mine secondhand, and a lot of time when you buy them secondhand, there's a bunch of expansions to it you don't realize. But I don't think I've opened it because we didn't actually play my copy. We played our friend's Bernie's copy.
Yeah.
So and he had so many maps it was bulging.
Yeah.
So
well, we played with one expansion. We played with the Salsa expansion, but there is another expansion that you can do team play, where it's like a 2v2. I would like.
Was that the Venus?
Yeah, Venus.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that does seem cool. Yeah, because I think we were originally going to be playing an odd number, so that's why we didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
We had set it up for 5, right?
Perfect. Yeah, so let's get started with the interview portion of our podcast. So Troy is actually quite an interesting person.
Why, thank you. I do try.
No pressure. So be interesting though. But now the first event I attended with Tabletop YYC was it was right out of the COVID isolation era. It was the first gaming event. I think we were all itching to go.
Yes.
Yeah. It was because it was a 1-day event, and I couldn't get the day off, so I had to go after work and just get a couple of hours. But I'm I am getting those couple of hours. So first question, I guess that I'll bring up to you, Troy, is how did Tabletop YYC get started?
Sure, yeah, and that 1-day event, I wanted it to be a weekend, but it was so risky to book the hotel for the weekend without knowing the numbers. And that's part of why I did Kickstarter. So many people ask me, why are you doing Kickstarter? Why not just use tabletop events or some other website to sell tickets. And it's like, because I need to know how many tickets or how many people are going to come, essentially. Because I was prolonging the deposit for so long, just kind of giving excuses. Yeah, checks in the mail, it's kind of whatever. Waiting for the Kickstarter to end, right? And yeah, it was a smashing success. So how did it come about? It came about because of COVID, essentially. And
Yeah.
well, I am an organizer by trade. I'm a project manager, and my first job, I would volunteer for the marketing department and do events like Molson Indie and expos and stuff like that. But anyways, so it's in my blood to be out there organizing events. But for board games, it came to be just before COVID. Actually, I found Dice Tower, and I was watching Pandemic Legacy playthrough because we had got this game that I just blew my mind. I heard about a game that destroys itself. Like, what the heck is this? You play through it and then you'll never play it again. Like, that can't be possible. It intrigued me so much. So we started playing it, and then I started searching for it, and Dice Tower came up and had this playthrough. It's like, oh, cool. I want to see how they played it. And then I would stop it if there was a spoiler. We come to a point where we hadn't gotten to yet. And then I started to look into these guys, and they, they're prolific, so everybody knows who the Dice Tower is. But I started watching their top 10 videos and top 100s, and I'm like, wow, there's so many games out there, and I just wanted them all. I wanted to play them all and see them all. And when they did these top 100s, it was perfect because it was just 2-minute blurb on the game and the mechanisms and stuff. And then I would say, well, that doesn't interest me, or that does, and I'd make a list of my own list to try. And then I would obviously look on Calgary Board Game Exchange, and Calgary's great for secondhand games because so many come up, and if you're quick, you can snap them up for cheap. And that's what I was doing. I was collecting games that I wanted to try, even just once or twice, and then resell later. But I'm a hoarder, so I would never resell them.
I get that.
That sounds like Bill.
I'm in good company. So yeah, I got up to I always had around 20 to 30 board games. But when I would go into a board game store, there was just so many, I never really knew what to get next. So I would ask for help, and I'd pick up 3 or 4 games and then try them and like some and not like others. But yeah, I got up to about 100, and then with the Dice Tower, and then started picking up more and more. 120 became 150, and then suddenly it was at 300 games, and like, hey, I can't play all these possibly in a year, so that's it. And then it occurred to me, like, well, what if I organized an event where I had the games? And then I started looking at Dice Tower West and how they do it. And they have that game library of over 2,500 games. And then the retreats their libraries around 2,000 games. And I thought, well, I mean, there is one event in Calgary. It's FallCon. And I don't think there's a second convention. I was thinking to myself, so maybe I could do one, on the off kind of half year from when FallCon is. And because it was COVID, I didn't know when FallCon was going to happen. So I started putting the feelers out to some of the organizers and some of the people involved, and they weren't sure they were going to have it. So they didn't have it that year. It was 2021. So I started thinking, okay, well, I've got now 300 games. Maybe I should just put the feelers out if I hosted something, some kind of retreat in the spring. And people thought, yeah, that might be a good idea. That might be interesting. But you don't really know if people are going to pay to do it, right? So you work out the economics of the hotel and everything. And it's like, okay, well, it's a small commitment. If it's a bust, it's a bust. We'll see how it goes. And booked the venue, did the Kickstarter, and there we go. We didn't sell out, but we pretty much did. Good. The venue was 3 different rooms, and we just wanted to stick to one room, but it was so popular that we had the 3 different rooms. So I'm told that was a huge success. If you have more than 100 people for your first event, it's a huge success. So sure. So that's where that started. And the name comes just from, I looked at all the conventions in North America, because you can go to Meeple Mountain, I think it is. One of their links on their page, they have all of the conventions worldwide.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was looking at all the names of them, and none of them made sense to me at all. And that's fine. If you're a gamer and you're in the hobby and stuff, they're fun little inside jokes often. But I wanted a convention that would be more welcoming, so that if you heard the name, you kind of have an idea what it is. Although people might think these are dining room tables conventions. So.
Yeah, I guess. Right.
Yeah, and the logo comes from that too. It's YYC. It's 2 Y's back to back with a C as an arc, and it forms a table. So Tabletop YYC is that, and then the name of the day, Calgary Tabletop Day, is identical to Nashville's Tabletop Day. So they started out very similarly. They wanted a very welcoming convention. Theirs is free. I don't think they charge.
Oh, wow.
and they've been going for many, many years. So I looked at what they did, and it's just like copy that. And that's what I'm all about, is like, don't reinvent the wheel, just copy what people do and go from there, maybe improve upon it if you can. But yeah, so I'm modeling everything after Dice Tower West in terms of how the convention is run. So we're using their event manager. We want a hot games area. We want to do panels, want to do shows, have a little bit for everybody, have a kids section. Obviously, the library now is 1,200 games, and they're all great games, and that might be a little bit subjective, but I'm following the Dice Tower here. So they have reviewers from very different genres. Like Z likes the more eclectic games, and Tom is very middle of the road. Lots of heavy Euros for Tom, but also lots of quick zany games. He likes the dexterity games, the games that bring people together, right? Mike DeLisio loves the tactical games and the solo games. And anyways, they all have their different aspects, and I built the library based off of their top 100 list over the last few years. So I have 80 to 90% of each of their top 100s in the library. And the only ones I don't have are because they're out of print or are really hard to find. So cool. It should appeal to most people, hopefully. But that's how it got started.
So this big library that you have, is it, now you do rent it out? Is that, you rent them out from the store? Like, is that part of the membership?
So that was the next logical step. So convention was a success. So where do I go from here? Okay, well, I've got these 1,200 games, and my game group is borrowing them, which is cool. That's fine. But I thought to myself, like, well, I can't play like once a year. People get to enjoy these games. That's ridiculous. I want to share these. I want to grow the hobby, right? I don't want people necessarily having to feel like they have to buy all these games and then they try to resell them if they don't like them, or you don't get to test it before you play them. So I'm like, well, what can I do to share these games like over the course of the year? And that's where it's like, well, you should rent them. I'm like, yeah, rent them. Come on, out of my house? No, that would be. I have a full-time job. I can't have people coming here all the time borrowing games and trying to track that. It just seemed like a lot of work. But then, because I have the store, which is my other life, it's a pet store. It was a pet store since 2016. It was on 17th Ave. Now it's on 11th Ave. We moved in 2018, but it's a big store for a pet store. So I've always thought to myself, well, I could move everything there and then stage it out of there, but that doesn't make sense. It's a pet store, and then I'd have to sell board games. That's just not something I would love to, but I have too many other things on the go. I'm a project manager by day. I have the pet store that's managed by someone else, but I also have, a smoked bone business, and it's just too much. So, but that was the natural progression. So the library became an opportunity to share, but also drive people towards the convention. So getting a membership to the library, your fees goes towards paying down the ticket at an early bird discount price for the convention. So if your badge price is $100 and your membership is $10 a month, all $10 goes towards the convention ticket, presuming you're going to go to the convention. So it kind of locks you into the convention. It allows me to know how many more likely people are going to come much earlier, so I can plan the event venue, pay them the deposit earlier, and I can actually book stuff. So I can get celebrities early. I can get shows booked early, that kind of stuff, right? And build the event better. So like, for example, next year, we're going to have more celebrities for sure, and publishers coming next year, but also I've been talking to game toppers, and there's a good shot that the entire hot games area is going to be all game toppers.
Cool.
With playmats. Awesome. Yeah. Because we have the time. We have the lead time to be able to do it. So it's going to be really cool, and we're going to grow a lot, hopefully. So we need this convention to go off well. And sorry.
Right. So the $10 a month, what does that give? Like, what does that give you?
So that's tier 2. So tier 1 is $5 a month, and that just locks in the early bird price of the ticket, and it goes towards. So $5 a month goes towards the ticket. So 7 months in, your ticket's only going to cost $35 less than the early bird price.
And how does it work? Well, how does it work with the game rental? Yeah,
so at $10 a month, you get 2 games for 7 days rental per month. 2 games per month. And then at the next tier up, $20, $10 still goes towards your convention ticket, but now it's unlimited access to the library, 1 game at a time. so it's a token. So you take out one game and you bring it back within 7 days, but you bring it back and keep changing out that game as many times in the month as you want for $20 a month. Now the $10 there goes ticket, and then the $10 now goes towards maintaining the library, because at that point you're accessing it more and more damage is going to wear and tear in the library. So we're going to have to replace games and components and stuff eventually. Then at the $30 level, so the last tier level gets you 3 games at a time you can have out, and unlimited access. So now that these are, the game groups might get that, or you might want to upgrade for a month if you're going to go on vacation, going camping and stuff, then you can take 3 games out and you can book ahead of time. And we are launching the website. I keep saying this every week. We are launching the website and the app so that you can book the games and sign out, so you don't have to text me and pick it up at the store. It is... We're getting there. I just I had somebody who was going to do it for me, and then they weren't able to, so now I have to do it. So I have to find the time to just launch the website. So the games are all loaded and ready to go. It's just the website's got to get launched. So I'll try to do it this weekend. But that's going to be really cool, because then now you can see which games are booked out and see what days and for how long and when they're coming back, and then book them. Plus, it'll allow you, if you want more than your membership allows you, it'll allow you then to pay. If you did want just once 5 games, then it's whatever the cost is to get the extra games for that period of time.
Nice. I gotta say, that whole concept I was so impressed with.
Oh yeah.
Because, me and Carla obviously don't necessarily need that service per se. We've got a large library.
Right.
Although, if we wanted the latest and greatest and access to that, this would be still a great service for that. But for a lot of people because I know with me, when I first got introduced to my first modern board game, and then for me, that was like Lord of Waterdeep. And then you sit back afterward whoa, what was that? And you're
I had the same reaction to that.
Right?
Game.
Exactly. And it's I want more. And then you get the hitch. You wanna play more. You wanna see what else is out there, and the money involved in growing your library that way, and the space that it would take to have all of these games, it's not feasible for everybody. But then, even if you go all the way $30 a month, that's nothing.
That's a great price. If I was in Calgary, if I was in Calgary, even with my big collection, I would still utilize that.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Be able to try a game before you buy it. It's awesome.
I think in Toronto there's a business that does this. It's a rental business, but they charge a lot. It depends on the game. It's anywhere from $5 to $30 to rent the games. The popularity and cost of the game and stuff. But But my goal isn't to make money on the library. That's not the point.
It's to kind of promote the events.
Promote the convention.
Yeah, because if you know you're going to go to the convention anyways, might as well. Now, if you do the $30 a month, so obviously it'd be more than the price of a ticket. Could you apply that to multiple tickets?
So at $30 a month, it's still only 10 is going to.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
So
20, which makes sense.
Because you're using more games, they're going to wear down faster.
Okay, for sure.
They just are. Yeah, like a game getting lent out 10 to 20 times is probably going to need to be replaced. It just is.
What?
Yeah. Like Foundations of Rome went out twice, and once it came back, and one of the trays is cracked.
Oh,
it's just going to happen, right? It's not. None of the pieces are missing or destroyed, but
honestly, I know some people talk about sleeve their cards and are so nitpicky about their game, but I don't mind a game that shows a little wear. To me, it's been loved. It has that been loved feel to it, right? But yeah, I guess eventually we've had to replace Love Letter. Because that you could, exactly. But it got to the point where you could tell which card was which because it'd been, the marks on
true.
It. So it's okay, it's time. But
no, my library being pristine, that ship sailed when I moved it to the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Convention.
Oh, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have box bands. I had some elastic bands. Yeah, I was learning lesson. Boxes going everywhere, collapsing. It's okay, yeah. Now I've got rubber bands. I've got an order in for all of the box bands too coming, so hopefully next year I'll have box bands for everything. But I
guess things are gonna Now, so it started off as the first event, and then renting out the games, and then you just recently opened your game store. What made you decide to go physical store?
So the store, well, again, it comes back to the convention. So the long-term goal, the vision, is within 5 years to be the largest convention in Canada.
Cool.
Within 10 years, similar in scope and scale to PAX or Gen Con. That's the vision, the long-term vision.
Boy.
So how do you get there?
Yeah.
I'm all about goals and visions, right? So if you don't have a goal or vision, you don't know where you're going. You don't know how to get there. So if that's the goal, how do you get there? Well, a lot of it is working with partners, building partnerships, and people with similar mindsets to work toward that. You can help each other work towards each other's goals, right? So the store is a way to. It's another venue to promote the convention. So people are coming into the store for the pets. You can talk about the convention, but if you're selling games, now you're attracting that community, and you can talk about at every sale. You can talk about it. I did talk to existing stores and stuff, some kind of business partnership like that, where we could get engagement for every customer. Maybe it's on the ticket, on the receipt, tabletop discounts here, and then we can promote their stores. But there wasn't a lot of interest in that. So I needed a place for the library.
Well,
It was that. It was also the pet store. I was reducing inventory significantly for other reasons. And I know that in the square footage, because I've been in retail for quite a number of years, I wouldn't lose sales if I cut the store in half, right? The business model for the pet store will work just fine in half the square footage. So I had the space, and I'm committed to the lease anyways, and I needed a space for 1,200 games. And then I had the membership. I needed a place for people to go to get the games. And it wasn't just that. Like, it was working out where people were picking up at my house at D6 Cafe in the Northeast, and then at my store. So there's 3 spots in the city. But people wanted to see the library. They wanted to peruse it, right? Like a Blockbuster Video, if you remember, just kind of want to go there.
I love it.
See the movies, right? Right. And I could appreciate that. So it was those things. It was those 3 things coming together. It's like, okay, this just makes sense, but do I have the cash to invest in buying a whole bunch of inventory, right? And that's yes and no. So yes, we bought some. Puzzles are cheaper, so half the store is going to be puzzles. The other half is board games. But also I'm partnered with Boardgame Emporium. So we're a place where they can fulfill their Kickstarters. And he had tons of inventory as well. So we've got his inventory there to fill the shelves, and then our stuff. And then as we sell, we're slowly bringing in more inventory. So we're placing orders virtually every week now to fill the shelves.
Nice.
Awesome. So now I know you've done like the Kickstarter tabletop day, and then you have the big convention. What other events have you hosted as Calgary Tabletop?
So we've exhibited at GameCon. That was
right.
And FallCon, GameCon, and working backwards was the Expo, and the Expo before that. So 2 years at Expo. The first year we had the similar space that FallCon used to have in the basement of the Big Four, and then where we brought the whole library that year. This year we had a smaller space, but we were next to eBay in the main area. That was really cool. We had about 12 tables, and we were pretty full most of the weekend. That was really neat. Doing tournaments and stuff, getting them out there. And then at GameCon, we had similar to FallCon, we had 40 tables, brought the whole library. Everybody was pretty impressed and had a lot of fun there. And then at those events, I was networking with other vendors too. So getting contact information, telling them about us. Hey, would you be interested in exhibiting at our convention in November? I actually hadn't known the date until I think it was GameCon. Yeah, it was the weekend of GameCon when we got the date sorted out for Tabletop Day. And then, so other events, we've tried to start up league play. So I have this idea. It's not my idea. It's intramural sports. It's the same business model. So we tried to get that going last May, not this year, but a year ago in May. And that the premise is you get a team of 6 to 10 people together for once a week. You enter into the league. It costs the same amount as an intramural sports team would be. So whatever that would be, $150 for a team of 10. And then that gets you 10 weeks. And then we bring the games. So we will plan the games, 3 games each night at a bar to host, bar or restaurant. So it would be potentially a social game, and then a quick 30 minutes strategy game, and then a group game in the end. And then you score yourself based on your positions at the end of the game. So the games would have to work for scoring in terms of placement. And then you just rack up points. Your team racks up points based on how you did through each week. And then at the end, there's finals and playoffs. and then we award t-shirts to the winning team at the end, and then bragging rights, right? So, and then you just do that. You cycle that over just like intramural sports. And there was a lot of interest, but not enough to launch it. And so we've got a waiting list of people who really want to do that. And I think after November, there'll be enough to launch that.
Yeah.
That sounds
I think it'll
awesome.
be really cool. But then we're also going into schools too. We've got some teachers that really want to start school teams for board games.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So this is something I really want to do, is get maybe 3 or 4 schools together to field a team. And then the business model there would be World Series of Board Gaming. We'll pick the exact same games that they use, the same format. And so they go get the games, they learn them to death, they play them, they practice, and then we just organize them. So whatever night of the week it's going to be, you play for this many hours, you score, then on to the next one. You just keep doing that for 12 weeks. And then the finals would be at our convention. So all the kids would come to the convention, be a big venue. There's lots of other board gamers and they have access to the library. I think it'd be really cool. But for this year, I don't think there'll be enough time to organize that, but that was the plan.
That's so cool. I love
We'll do
that.
next year.
Because with the school, there's already like a sense of rivalry from one school to another school. And I really like the idea of like, let's get them playing games that's not video game. Let's get them disconnected for a bit and interact with each other. And that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah. A lot of parents want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids that can't play sports, right? They're just not great at it, or it's always the best athletes make those teams, and then everyone else gets left out of the dust for communities or for organized stuff, right? Not everybody wants to be in a chess club or the math club, so
Right. Yeah.
board games anybody can play, right? So
I love what World Series of Board Games is doing for the hobby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if any of you watched any of the coverage, but they had Tom Vassell, Art Family Plays Games. They would be what's the word? Not commentating. Commentating the games, and it's just awesome. Like, only
That's so cool.
gamers would really truly appreciate it. But it was funny because Tom would be like, oh, "He just played this card." We all know that, but I just love what they're doing. It's just like watching golf or watching a poker, series, whatever. It's just awesome. I'd love to do that one day.
It is, and our goal. So it's too soon this year, but next year at Calgary Tabletop Day, we will have World Series of Board Gaming events.
Nice.
I almost guarantee it, because that's what they want to do, right? They want to have a feeder circuit. So Dice Tower West has the events, and we're gonna work with them to try
get
to
it.
have events
Nice.
at Tabletop Day.
Awesome.
So you have a local. So you have the schools. You have the grassroots feeding it in, and then you can join the circuit and then win trips to Vegas. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Well, if you need someone to commentate them, I would love to do some games.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like the concept because you're like, your goal in 5 years is to have the largest event in Calgary. And you're going into... in Canada, right. Canada. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking small here. I don't have your vision. But you're kind of aiming to do that largest event, and then you're like, let's go to the school and start growing them there.
Yeah.
Let's plant the seeds. We'll make our own board gamers.
That's right.
Now, out of the events that you're doing, you also do a lot with the Lorcana at your store.
Yes. So Disney Lorcana presented a pretty unique opportunity for us, because I wanted to learn about trading card games, but Magic, I've never played it. I have some dueling decks in the library that I haven't messed around with yet, but it just feels so intimidating. It's just so big. How do you get into it? I'm sure there's easy ways to get into it and just play a little bit, but it just feels so massive. And then Disney, I love the Disney theme. Who doesn't?
Right.
And then it's billed as this a little bit more strategy than Pokemon and much less than Magic. I'm like, okay, well, this is good. And I can get on the ground floor. It can feel kind of equal playing field with people. And it's not too crazy right away because it's just chapter 1. So, and that really sealed my ticket to go to Gen Con, because there was some games that I was talking to the publisher of World Wonders, and I wanted to order this game for our convention. I wanted to get a copy of World Wonders from Brazil. And he said, can't. It's with Arcane Wonders, and it'll be available at Gen Con. And I said, okay, I guess I'm going to Gen Con. But it's such an expensive trip. I can't justify it for that one game. But then I heard Disney Lorcana is going to be there. I'm like, what's this Disney Lorcana? I started looking at it. I was like, Okay,
There it is.
Because I can use Disney Lorcana and the popularity around that to promote my convention and the store at the same time and just piggyback on that popularity. And that's what I was doing. So in the mornings, the early mornings while I was waiting in line, I'm just Facebooking away on the Gen Con website and my own websites like Disney Lorcana. And the community started, not from me, but from the local community in Calgary, started pretty quickly with Lorcana, and we got swept up with that. And so I did get product at Gen Con when there was so little available that we wanted to start hosting events right away at the store when no one else was. And all the other stores in Calgary are already committed to the other trading card games. So Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic, all of them. They have room for Lorcana, but they weren't eager to dive into it right away because the product wasn't available. Whereas I have no trading card games in my store and I want to host something. So let's just provide a place for people to play Lorcana. And that's what we've been doing. We did week 4. What is it? Wednesday today? Yeah. So last night we do every Tuesdays at 6:30. Week 4 we handed out a trove to the winner.
Nice.
Of the league. Yeah. So we got 8 more weeks to go in the league.
And I saw you posted today the Chapter 2 pre-orders started.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I saw the newsletter from the distributor because the other distributor said that they weren't going to get the SKUs and the information for another few weeks. But then the weekly newsletter came up with this other distributor. And it's like, amongst all of these other games, it's just this little tab, Lorcana, Chapter 2. I'm like, what? Really? Click on it, and all the SKUs are there with all the prices, so you can pre-order it and like, click, buy. So, yeah, and the dates are there. So, I mean, the rumors have been out that it was going to be released to local game stores for November 17th, which is just coincidentally perfect. It's the start of the convention, the Friday. So it's like awesome. We can fulfill orders at the convention, which is perfect. It promotes the convention.
Oh,
so
that's amazing. Yeah.
Serendipitous. Absolutely. So, yeah. So we posted that. I got the SKUs on the site as fast as I could. And I think we're the only ones in the country right now allowing for pre-orders. But so yeah, it's been going well.
Good. Wow. Yeah.
Now, let's dial it back a little bit. How did you actually get into the hobby before? Like, I know you had said you played, what was it before? The Dice Tower, before you got a hold of the Dice Tower. But how did you, like, did you play games as a child or?
Absolutely. So our family growing up, an extended family, card games. Yeah. Lots of card games, right? Yeah. Easy to play camping at the cabins and stuff, but also board games at home. We always had I have a brother that's 3 years older. Then I've got a younger half brother and half sister that are quite a bit younger. But growing up with my older brother, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was a lot of toys that were inexpensive, and board games were obviously for the value. it's cheap, right? So if I recall our toy room and the shelves in it. Like the shelves were full of board games, and if I think about how many there was probably 60 or 70 games there. So
wow!
The standard, Monopoly and Yahtzee and Racco and Scrabble and Stock Ticker, Shadow Lords. Has anybody played Shadow Lords?
I haven't.
So that was one. That's like one of your first tactical. I wouldn't even call it a Euro. It's definitely Ameritrash kind of game, and like it's area control with these space lords, and it's asymmetric too. Like I couldn't believe it when I started looking back at the rules. Like this was asymmetric player power. So this is so cool. Terrible by today's standards, but yeah, we played complicated games back then, and it's such a shame that in high school when Magic came out, that I didn't know anything about it, because had I known, I would have played it to death in high school and university. Had I known. And that's just it. My friend group at the time, we played hearts and spades and just with cards and other like drinking games and stuff. But yeah, I didn't know modern board games until much later.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my late 20s, early 30s. Yeah. The next game I probably would have got, I think, was Catan. Somebody showed me Catan, and then that was the end of Troy. So staying up till 5 a.m, playing Cities and Nights. Yes, yeah. Like basic Catan was great, and then it just got boring. Yeah. And then somebody showed me Seafarers and then Cities and Nights. Cities and Nights took it to a whole nother level. Like, oh my god! But it still didn't occur to me that there's more games like that out there,
right?
Because you need people to show you those games. And then it was Puerto Rico after that, and then Agricola. Wow, mind blown. Or Agricola, however you want to pronounce it, Agricola. And that game was so cool because it just changed every time based on the cards you got. Your strategy changed because your hand, you have to work with the cards you have, otherwise you're not going to win. So, and they give you so many cards, and then all the expansions. I don't think I've ever played the same game twice. And so, if you look at the library, my game of Agricola at the box is just torn to shreds. It's just been played so much, and it's bulging with all the different expansions. And Le Havre too. So, U Rosenberg for sure. My first 20 games of more complicated games being played, that opened my eyes. But still, again, I wasn't shown. I was relying on other people to bring games to me. And I didn't know what else was out there until the YouTube channels.
Yeah, right. That was big. I mean, I would watch Will Wheaton, what was it, Tabletop? I think it was, or...
Oh, yeah. What's his channel called? Or the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. And I'm a Will Wheaton fan.
Every once in a while, I go back and watch them again. Like, these are such well-produced videos. It was so neat to watch them play. And then you have all sorts of different, people on there. There's like, Alicia Day would be on there quite a bit. And then somebody was like, oh, and she did this and this and this. I was like, I just know her from that. And that's what I'm impressed with. But yeah, that's cool. And that was the same with the Catan. Like, I enjoy Catan. We play Catan a couple times a week forever, but it didn't lead to the next game for us. Well, yeah, that's cool. Now, so we talked about it. Calgary Tabletop Game Days coming up. It's November 17th to the 19th. You kind of talked real quick about everything that is going to be happening there. Is there anything more you want to add? Now, you talked about the celebrity. Me and you did a video revealing who the celebrity was on my YouTube channel, which is Mel's Board Game Room, so you should go see. And then he told me, he's like, okay, I want to do this video. We got this celebrity coming. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, I'm in. I was like, who is it? He's like, I'm not telling you. He's like, oh, no. And I'm so curious. That drives me crazy. So he drove me crazy for a long time. And then I was like, what if I don't know who that person is?
Yeah.
And I was really worried. Like, what if it's like, oh, it's so-and-so. And I was like, I don't know who that is. But, I mean, it's out now. It's Sam Healy and JT that, actually, I just finished watching their top 100 videos, like of top 100 games of all time. So they're coming to Calgary. That's so exciting. Tell us more about, about that, what they're going to be doing at the event, what else we can expect at the event.
What are they doing? Yeah, he and I have been playing a tag here, trying to settle that down. But I've got a pretty good idea of what we're going to have him take part in. So Friday, he wants to do a Blood Rage tournament.
Nice.
So
nice.
I think that'd be really cool.
Blood Rage is so good.
All of you, yes, who want to play Blood Rage with Sam. I have a copy. I'm sure he'll bring his copy.
I have a copy if you need mine too.
Yeah, there we go. 3 copies. Bring it. And get to play with Sam for the better part of a day.
Nice.
Playing Blood Rage. We'll give away some prizes. And I think he's going to bring some swag too from his channel. So that'll be Friday. He suggested we do a dice throwing tournament too. And of course, we have to do a dice throwing tournament.
Of course.
With or without Roxley.
Right.
Even if they won't answer my emails.
Well, I have all of the battle boxes, so definitely I can contribute towards that as well.
Awesome. Yep. Cool. So yeah, dice throwing tournament Friday.
Because also you mentioned you're having Santa and the Grinch.
Oh yes, so that's Saturday. But on Friday, so yeah, Sam is going to do some learn to plays.
Nice. On
his channel. So if you watch his channel, he does teaches and learning to plays. So if you want to play with Sam and you can't find him, maybe he's at his booth. You can play with him a game and he'll teach you how to play it live.
Nice.
Or maybe not. Maybe he won't live stream it, but he'll record it and it'll end up on his channel.
That's so cool.
Saturday. Yeah, so Saturday, Santa versus Krampus dice throne with Santa versus the Grinch. So Santa's coming. So is the Grinch. And they're going to face off. They don't know this yet. They know they're booked. They don't know what they're doing. So it should be quite comical. These guys rolling dice. But,
my money's on Santa, yeah. I gotta say.
Santa's powers in that are quite funny. Yeah, I think they're better than the Grinch in that dice throwing game. But yeah, so that'll be probably an hour. I think that'll be fun. Maybe a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
We'll film that. And Sam's agreed to provide color commentary and maybe film that as well. Then what else? We're doing a strike tournament.
Oh, fun. Yeah,
So-
you mentioned that. But guess who's
Disney
playing?
style. Yes. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Pluto, and Donald Duck are coming to play an oversized game of Strike. So, if you don't know Strike, it's a dice chucking game where you throw your dice into an arena, and what you're trying to do is create duplicates, because if you create duplicates, you get to take them back, and it's the first person that runs out of dice, you get eliminated. So you want dice, so you want to keep making duplicates in the arena. So if you don't make any duplicates, you lose those dice until the next turn, and you get to decide each turn how many dice you want to throw in there. So if you want to gamble all of them, better chance you're going to get duplicates, but you might lose really quickly.
Right.
So we'll do a Disney oversized.
I
for
hope
the
Donald
kids.
Duck loses and has a temper tantrum. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be funny. I want to try to do my Donald Duck impression now, but I won't subject you to that. What else is on Saturday? We're going to get he's probably going to MC a panel. So we're trying to get some publishers or designers, probably designers. I'm not sure we'll have enough publishers to partake, but a panel. So he'll MC it. And
Nice.
That'll be an hour long. And then top 10 list. That's going to be Saturday night
Yes.
Yeah.
between 7 and 8 with our special guests, Mel and Carla.
Woohoo! When we come on, like, for the panel, I want everybody, like, to scream so that Sam is like, whoa, who are these people? And he won't know. They're nobodies, but he won't know that because it'll be so loud.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be funny, actually.
You might have 2 or 3 in the crowd. Yeah. Our
Yeah.
friend,
Well,
right?
we'll start, like, $2. You
Yeah.
scream real loud when we come up, $2 for you. A toonie. He won't understand what we're talking about.
So yeah, Sam and JT will be on that. And
Yeah.
the two of you. I may or may not join. We'll see. I might be too busy trying to keep everything together. But, I think it'd be fun. It'd be such an experience to do a top 10 with Sam. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good.
It's going to be so cool. I'm excited. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah.
And that's just the Saturdays. So, but plus the hot games. So the hot games will be out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that list, I'll check what Dice Tower did for Dice Tower East, and I'll just copy all the games they had because they're on the ball. They know what's
They
hot
know.
right now.
Yeah.
And
Why
I
reinvent the wheel,
should-
like you said, right?
Yeah, like you're just spending effort you don't need to, and taking a risk where you don't need to. So Sunday, so Sunday's the Lorcana tournament. So this is the 1K, and for those that don't know, a 1K is $1,000 guaranteed in prize money, no matter how many people sign up. So
Oh, cool.
I didn't know this either. That's what they call them, 1Ks. So it might be borrowed from other trading card game tournaments, but we were the first one in Canada until a place in Ontario did one. This is doing one this weekend or did one last weekend. So we're not the
Ontario.
first. But yeah, so we've sold quite a few tickets already for that. There's only 64 available for that tournament, and they're $50 a piece. But it gives you a chance to do it sanctioned, organized Disney Lorcana play, and by that time we should have promo materials from Disney to give away to the winners of
cool.
that. Promo cards, promo prizes, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
That
that's
was-
just the no-brainer. Like, Disney, done. In.
Yeah.
But then, potentially $1,000 in prize, done. And then
Yeah.
Disney promo, done.
Yeah, and that's not just going to be for competitive players, because we'll be doing Learn to Plays all weekend for Disney Lorcana and starter decks. I should have enough starter decks to do starter deck challenges you can sign up for. So you pay, I think it would be around $30 and you get the starter deck, and that's pretty much what they
cool.
cost in the store.
Yeah.
And so you get the starter deck to take home with you, and then you're entered into a tournament where I think you're guaranteed, I just want to copy what they did at Gen Con, and I think it was guaranteed 4 rounds of play and best of 3.
Yeah.
So you get a real chance to learn. You're learning with other people, and you get a chance to play and figure out the game. And then at the event, there'll be lots of people trading cards and trading singles. So if you want to create a deck, and we'll have a lot of singles there too by that time for sale. If you want to
Very
create
cool.
a specific deck for the tournament on the final day.
Very cool.
What else is happening Sunday? We've got Santa photos. So Santa's going to be back, but this time he'll take photos with pets too, so you can bring your animals.
wow.
and you can do family photos with Santa.
With Paul the turtle.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I've been working with Santa for, 2023? So for at least 6 or 7 years. And he is a consummate professional.
Good.
Like, he's the best of the best. They asked him to do Macy's parade.
Oh,
He's
wow.
So good. We actually were really lucky to have him in Calgary because he's the world's best Santa Claus. And if you meet him, and you will on the Sunday, you'll know why. Right?
Oh.
Like,
I'm getting a picture with Santa now.
Oh, yeah. He showed up at my door. The first time I hired him, he showed up at my door unexpectedly because he actually lived on my street. And when he wasn't in the North Pole, he opened the door in full costume and dress, and I just got chills. Like, wow. I just took my breath away. Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a good guy too.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And then we want to do another panel on the Sunday, and then that Sunday is where I was going to slot the interview for Sam and you.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sometime in that day. Then we're also going to have miniature painting all weekend. We have a group that wants to do a game show, so like a Wheel of Fortune style game show.
Nice.
We have Dungeons and Dragons events running all weekend, so learn to play, some campaign stuff. Really for anybody. These little events that they're going to put on are for anybody to play. Magic the Gathering, we're going to do a tournament there. Pokemon, Blood on the Clock Tower, obviously they're welcome, and they're going to run, I'm sure, all weekend long. Blood on the Clock Tower. Have you played Blood on the Clock Tower yet?
No,
I haven't. Like, they were running the event, but I was volunteering last time at FallCon, but yeah.
It's a time commitment. Like, a game could be done in an hour, but that's unlikely because the facilitator, I forget what they call the facilitator, the narrator, their job is to try to make it last as long as possible. And what that means, like if Werewolf, you want kind of the final showdown where you have an equal number of citizens and an equal number of what do they call them, demons in Blood of the Clock Tower.
Oh, okay.
It's the most epic experience if you can get to that point. But yeah, it's amazing. It really is. But it can be a 3-4 hour game.
So it is, yeah. It is a
But
commitment.
you're having fun the whole time.
That sounds like an amazing Halloween night party event.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Doesn't have to be, though. That's the thing about
Well,
it.
I get it, but it's October.
So the coolest part about it is when you're knocked out, you're still in it.
Oh.
You're a ghost. Because at the end of every day, when everybody's paired off and kind of learn about each other in different roles and stuff, what powers everybody has, you're a ghost and you get to be the same. You get to talk to everybody the same way you normally would, right? And spread disinformation and still play for your team kind of thing, right? It's the only thing you can't do is vote during the day to eliminate somebody. So you're engaged the whole time, beginning to end.
That's nice.
It's really neat.
Mostly if it's a 3-hour game.
Yeah.
It's worth trying for sure.
Very cool.
That's all I've got down on my paper right now for itinerary.
Well, it's a filled event.
Yeah.
No, I do have. I can't tell you who.
Oh, why do you do this to me?
I'm this close to locking down somebody else, and it would be so cool to have them.
I'm excited and I don't even know.
Yeah, it would be cool. We'll see if they're checking their schedule and. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, I just got to come out to Calgary Tabletop and see who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so if somebody wants to get involved with your membership program or go visit your store or purchase ticket for the Calgary Tabletop Game Day, how do they do that?
So the best hub where you can access all of that is tabletopyyc.com. Everything is on there. So the online store, there's a link there. Our library BGG link is there. The membership program Patreon link is there. The event page is a separate page. From there, it tells you all about the convention, and then the link from there to get you to go get badges and tickets and stuff. It's all on tabletopyyc.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So everybody make sure you go to tabletopyyc.com, book your ticket. And there's only 64 spot left for the Lorcana. So
64 total. We've sold a fair number already.
Oh, so quick. Go now.
Yeah.
Go now.
Yeah. For the Lorcana tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing event. Me and Carla will be there. We're super excited. And then yeah, so Troy, thank you so much for joining us today. It was I just like everything that you do. I was like, okay, we need to have him on. Now, Carla, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Boardgame Specialist, all one word. And I have a Facebook page called Red Deer Boardgame Fanatics. What about you, Mel?
So I am on Instagram as Mel_boardgame_room. And my YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. And my Facebook page is Mel's Board Game Room. Now, Troy, before we call it quits, any other place that people should visit?
So Calgary Tabletop Day is the Facebook page for the event. If you want to see the next celebrity, the next event to be posted, that's the first place it'll go. It will eventually end up on our website and other channels. Like we're on Meetup as well in the app, but that Facebook page is where we're going to post every event. And I did forget to mention we have a vendors market, a big vendors market that's going to be at this event, a Christmas market. We've got over 30 vendors already.
Wow.
And we're likely to get more than that with designers, publishers, Christmas market, little niche. Like if you go to a Christmas market nowadays, it's all the same stuff. It really is. Not this market. This is going to be the Christmas geek market. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And it's open to the public. You don't need a ticket to get to it.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that's where you can find it.
Perfect. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Next episode, we are doing our top 9, was it legacy or campaign games?
Yeah,
campaign games.
Legacy games.
Yeah. So be sure to check that one out. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.